Good afternoon, everyone. We welcome you all to the international celebrations on occasion of International Day for Biological Diversity, which is celebrated every year on 22nd May 2026. So today we have gathered here for the celebrations one day in advance. So, which is organized by Environment and Biodiversity Students Club, Department of Clinical Psychology, Helen Keller Institute. Now I invite our students to take over to conduct the proceedings of these celebrations.
Good morning, one and all, and welcome to this online international celebration of the International Day for Biological Diversity 2026. We warmly welcome you, respected dignitaries, distinguished speakers, and dear participants. We now begin our inaugural session. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our esteemed guest and speaker who will bring immense knowledge and experience to today's workshop. Now, I invite our founder and chairman of Helen Keller's Institute, Professor P. Patanamarkan sir. Professor Patanamarkan sir has education qualification in Master of Science in Psychology, MBA, MCom, MEd, PG in Special Education. He is the founder and chairman of Helen Keller's Institute of Research and Rehabilitation Center for Disabled Children. He has work experience of 28 years of teaching and administrative experience in the field of disability rehabilitation. Courses started under his guidance are B.Ed in Special Education, MA SLP, MSc in Audiology, and MSc in SLP, affiliated with Usmania University, Hyderabad. MBA affiliation with DDE, Pondicherry University, Puducherry. Advanced certificate course in inclusive education, cross disability. We warmly invite you, Professor Patanamarkan sir, to give your valuable insights on Helen Keller's Institute.
Thank you, Xavier. So sir will be joining late at a later time. So now we would like to invite Dr. Armugam sir, who is academic director and also principal. Now I request Xavier to introduce sir.
Dr. D. Armugam sir, we warmly welcome you. The academic qualifications of Dr. D. Armugam sir are MSc in Bharatiya University, B.Ed in Biology, University of Madras, M.Ed in Special Education in IGNOU, PG in PDMR Bose University, PhD in KRU University. Position Principal of Helen Keller Institute. Work experience of Dr. D. Armugam sir are 28 years of teaching and administrative experience in the field of disability and rehabilitation. Courses started under Sir's leadership are B.Ed in Special Education, Hearing Impairment, MA SLP, MSc Audiology, MSc SLP with affiliation of Usmania University, Hyderabad, MBA affiliation with DDE, Pondicherry University, Puducherry, Advanced Certificate course in Inclusive Education, Cross Disability. The sir is a resource person. Lecture delivered on gender critique legislation, government policies, and schemes on February 13, 2020 at AYJNI SSD SRC Secunderabad. Delivered a talk on the topic Counseling Parents Towards Education Options Available to Children with Disabilities on March 29, 2019 at AYNI SSD Secunderabad. Participation of Dr. D. Armugam sir RN, Course Coordinator, Meet of Southern Zone RCI held on March 27th and 28th, 2023 at Chennai. Participated in 3rd BMI International Conference held in Hyderabad on the 1st and 2nd February of 2020. Now I warmly invite Dr. D. Armugam sir for his valuable insights in Helen Keller's Institute of Research and Rehabilitation Center for Disabled Children.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Please continue.
So today's program is organized by Department of Clinical Psychology, Helen Keller's Institute. I congratulate the faculty of Clinical Psychology and the students organizing today's program on environment and biodiversity. Environment is a very important topic. World Environment Day, we are going to celebrate June 5th. So we have to give a lot of awareness to the society. Now, war is going on Iraq, the neighboring countries, Gulf countries, Lebanon, Israel, in America. The people, they are spending lot of amount to destroy themselves. We lost so many houses, we lost so many buildings, life of the people, and the petrol companies and all, we lost during this war time. Still war is going on. Sometimes the gas, petrol, and other products, crude oil, is carried by the ship So what is going on? On the ship, some people, they are dropping bomb and it is blasted and all the crude oil is leaked, poured into the sea, ocean. So under the sea, there are so many sea animals are there. Fishes, tortoise, whales, and so many things are there. Even algae is there. So all the ecosystem will be spoiled and all they will die. So the topic is most important for today's program. So we have to protect environment for the future generation. So we are extending all the land for constructing buildings, office, by cutting all the trees from the forest area, and we are entering into the forest area. We lost the trees and we lost the rain, and slowly the temperature is increasing during summertime. We are able to maintain the temperature, and so many people also, they are losing their life. So going on, we should give awareness to the society to solve the issue. And there are so many countries also involving in this matter. And some developed nation, they are escaping, and developing nation, they are looking into the developed nation. So there is also in politics are there. Everywhere politics are there. The environment is more important. We have to protect all the countries, all the people. Then only the next generation will be getting benefited. Otherwise, what will happen? The whole world will become a desert, and all the water level from Antarctica, Arctica will melt, the ice, the water level increase, they will enter into this land side, and all our houses will be immersed. So going on, we should give awareness to the general society to protect the environment, to give to the future generation. Once again, I thank the Department of Clinical Psychology, the faculties, and the students for organizing wonderful program on this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable address to the gathering and setting the direction. You know how it is important that we conserve our biological diversity and promote it, because the coexistence of both nature, environment, and humans are very much valuable. We are dependent on each other, and we see how temperature is rising day by day, year by year. And if we don't take enough measures, then definitely it is going to destroy the human race also. We can also become extinct. Thank you for your valuable suggestions and advice. Vote of thanks.
Thank you, Armugam sir, for your valuable insights.
Now I would like to invite Dr. G. Krishna sir, convenient professor, head of the department, clinical psychology, Helen Keller Institute. His career objective is to train and empower psychology students to become mental health professionals, especially in area of counseling, to heal the people. His professional is over 25 years of experience in clinical psychology and rehabilitation with a strong focus of teaching, research, and clinical practice. Many of his past students are working as counselors, running child development centers, wellness coaches, running their private practice, and some of them are working in government and NGOs, and some of them are settled in abroad. Extensive experience in academic leadership, including curriculum development, faculty mentoring, and student counseling. Proven track record in research and publication with a focus on cognitive behavioral therapy, psychological assessment, and rehabilitation psychology. His active contribution to national and international conferences and workshops with a commitment to community engagement and professional development. His professional experience is in clinical director, consultant clinical psychologist, psychological service at Kukatpalli, Hyderabad. He is a senior professor in clinical psychology, Swikar Academy of Rehabilitation Science, Sikandrabad, Telangana. He is a clinical psychologist, faculty in rehabilitation, clinical psychology, National Institute for Empowerment of Persons with Intellectual Disability in Sikandrabad, India under Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India. He is a coordinator placement, National Institute for the Empowerment of Persons with Intellectual Disabilities in Sikandrabad, India, established a robust internship program generating over 2,000 students internships across various departments, national and international students. His academic qualifications are he did MA in psychology, MPhil in psychology, and PhD in psychology from Osmania University, Hyderabad, India. Sir, I would like to invite to give some helpful invites for the today's workshop.
Good afternoon, everyone, and wishing you all a happy International Biodiversity Day. And there is enough resources for the human need, but not the human greed, is told by Mahatma Gandhi ji. And nature is very, very important. Nature resources. Now, what you see the crisis of gas and LPG and petrol and other things because of the ongoing wars, and we need nature for our breath, for cleanliness, and also for existence in this beautiful world. So we have to minimal utilize the nature resources, and we have to maintain balance of water resources or petroleum resources and other things. So on this important day, I would like to tell you that it is very, very important to conserve our nature, protect our nature, ecology, environment, and biodiversity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights on today's topic. Now, I request everyone to turn on their videos for a group photograph. I request everyone to turn on their videos. Thank you all. So the inaugural session has ended, and in next 5 minutes we'll be heading towards technical sessions. Let's take a 5 minutes break. So now let us begin our technical session. Our first guest of today's topic is Dr. Sudhir Bansal. Dr. Sudhir Bansal's academic qualifications are he completed his BA Honours in Psychology from Government College, Binia, Srinagar, Kashmir, MA Linguistics in Osmania University, MPhil in Osmania University, PhD in Osmania University, and now his current position is Associate Professor in Linguistics. He has around 28 years of teaching experience. He started his career as a research fellow at Indo-Japanese Project. He later taught linguistics and language pathology at MS University, Baroda, Gujarat, AYJNIHH, Secunderabad, University of Hyderabad, and Osmania University. Since 2022, he is teaching in Helen Keller's Institute of Speech and Hearing. He also had earlier stints in Helen Keller Institute in 2003, 2004, 2015 to 2017. His research interests are in the field of language pathology and child language. He has published 16 papers in these areas. He also works in the clinical work in help child centers for learning difficulties in the evening. He is an associate life member of Indian Speech and Hearing Association. He is an avid trekker and rock climber, being associated with this society to save rocks, Hyderabad. At present, he teaches bachelor's in SLP and MA SLP in the Institute of Helen Kellers. We warmly welcome you, sir, and for your valuable insights on ecology and environment. Over to you, sir.
I welcome everyone to this International Day for Biological Diversity program. Now, biodiversity is the term which refers to all living beings which stay on this plateau. That is flora and fauna, fungi, microorganisms, and all. This International Day for Biological Diversity was started in 1992 under a convention of the United Nations. So this year's slogan for the International Biodiversity is, "We are part of the solution for nature." Now, in my today's talk, I'll be talking about the Deccan rocks as a biological or biodiversity reserve. Deccan Plateau, as you know, is a plateau that has an area of 4,22,000 kilometers. That is 163,000 square kilometers. Once upon a time, it was part of the greatest Gondwana land, which included present-day Antarctica. As the changes in Earth's atmosphere took place, it became a different plateau in the Asia. Deccan Plateau extends from Satpura and Vindhya ranges in north and central India to northern fringes of Tamil Nadu in the south of India. It covers most of the Indian states of Karnataka, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana, but excludes the coastal regions of these states. It also includes certain minor portions of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Besides Deccan Plateau, rock formations of Deccan, that is South India, also include Deccan Traps. Deccan Traps are the large igneous rock formations of West and Central India. Here, trap refers to the step-like hills which form the landscape of this region. Deccan here means south, as it's given in the Sanskrit language. Rocks in Deccan Traps are found in Malwa Plateau and also Bandla Lobe in Madhya Pradesh, Mathiran and Koyna wildlife sanctuaries in Maharashtra. Even some experts include Saurashtra Plateau of Gujarat in Deccan Traps, but I'm not very much convinced there. Deccan Traps forms crucial micro ecosystem. Despite it appearing barren, these rocky outcrops are rich in biodiversity, acting as essential aquifers, the water reservoirs, temperature regulators, and natural sanctions for specialized endemic flora and fauna. They also have amphibians like frogs and other species there. On the other hand, Deccan Plateau is among the oldest geological rock formations in the Indian subcontinent. It even precedes the mighty Himalayas. The rocks of Deccan Plateau are 2.5 billion years old. They have been home to species which are found nowhere else on Earth. But still, over time, much of this natural wealth has been destroyed from public memory because there is widening of roads, industrial development, or destruction. Thus, it has narrowed conservation focus. Although not classified as a singular biodiversity reserve by name, these ancient rock formations have distinct flora and fauna. They preserve dry, deciduous ecoregions. They serve as micro habitats for diverse flora and fauna. They also house unique biodiversity reserves. Deccan rock formations, including the ancient billion-year-old granite inselbergs of Hyderabad and Telangana, and the vast basaltic Deccan Traps for crucial micro ecosystems. Now, coming to the biodiversity reserve here, they are host to lots of flora and fauna. The rock outcrops of Deccan support dry deciduous forest. We find over 175 species of herbs and shrubs, including many rare medicinal plants in the crevices and fissures of Deccan rocks in which the rainwater collects. On the other hand, when we see the fauna in these rock formations, we come across the sedimentary rocks where lava flows over a period of time and then they have solidified into different rock formations. They are known for fossils which include the earlier rock fossils and also freshwater mollusks. In the outcrop of Deccan rocks, we find shelter for unique reptiles like rock agama, which is a type of lizard, amphibians like frogs, reptiles, tortoises, lizards, and also a large variety of birds and medicinal wildlife. Now, this was all about how this biodiversity reserve called Deccan Rocks is helping in preservation of flora and fauna. We shall now briefly talk about the major geological and biodiversity sites in the Deccan. The first one I will talk about is Lonar Crater. This crater is situated in Maharashtra. This was created with the impact of meteoroids. It sits directly with Deccan Plateau basalt. It hosts a highly alkaline and saline lake that supports a unique localized ecosystem of extremophiles and phytoplankton, which are the rock formations, and also migratory birds. So this was the Lonar Crater in Maharashtra. Then we have Bhimbetka shelters found in parts of MP. So MP is also part of this Deccan rock formations. Bhimbetka shelters are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. They are found in the rocky terrains of Vindhya Mountains in Madhya Pradesh. They offer both deep history and protected natural environments. Then, near home to Hyderabad, we have Nagarjuna Sagar Sri Salem Tiger Reserve. This reserve protects expensive blocks of original Central Deccan Plateau habitat and provides a haven for or shelter for sloth bears, leopards, and other endemic wildlife. So this was about the major biodiversity reserves in the rocks in all over Deccan Plateau. Now I will talk about rock formations of Hyderabad and Telangana. Rock formations of Telangana have been preserved and protected by a society called Society to Save Rocks, which is situated in Jubilee Hills in Hyderabad. It was started in 1996 by a German Indian, Mrs. Taka Kadir, who is married in India. And it is involved in rock walks or trekking programs, as well as license with the government agencies to protect these rock formations, as well as the corporates. Now, coming to the rock formations in Telangana, major ones are in Hyderabad city. The first one is Gachibowli rocks. This includes Kancha Gachibowli rocks and other rock formations in South Campus of University of Hyderabad, as well as Maulana Azad Urdu University in Telecom Nagar for this thing, for the preservation of rocks. Now, coming to the Kancha Gachibowli rocks and other rock formations in University of Hyderabad, there has been a very wide campaign last year as government was about to take over the rock formations of the University of Hyderabad. And finally, we succeeded by getting Supreme Court to pass an order that we cannot cut the trees or rock formations in this eco-sensitive zone. Similar thing happened with Maulana Azad National Urdu University, rock formations. The government wanted 50 acres land, which was mostly a rocky outcrop or hilly area for further development, so-called destruction. So the students from University of Urdu University approached some politicians, and finally matter was settled. These rock formations were saved. Similar thing happened with Khajaguda rocks, that is known as also Fakhruddin Bhutta rock formations, which have a temple at the end, which is called Padmanabh Swami Temple. Also a dargah of Fakhruddin Auliya, as well as Meher Baba's caves. Many years back, the Society to Save Rocks went to the High Court. By the time we got a stay order for against destruction of rocks in Khajaguda or Fakhruddin Bhutta rock formations, they had leveled an entire ground. The rock formations were gone. So this shows, despite judicial intervention, we have not been able to save certain rock formations. Now, coming to certain rock parks in the city, we have a Forest Trek Park in near Narsingi, also the Borampeta Forest Trek Park near Sikandrabad. In the Forest Trek Park in Narsingi, there have been reported rock paintings in the caves. There is a rich source of flora and fauna there. Wild boars, peacocks, deer, and many insects or amphibians have been found in the area of Hyderabad Forest Trek Park in Narsingi. Same thing is true of Forest Trek Park in the southern belt, that is known as Borampeta Forest Trek Park. Besides these rock formations, we also have the Biodiversity Reserve in Durgam Cheruvu rocks. Durgam Cheruvu is an ancient place. During the Qutub Shahi king's time, this works served as a water channel passing through Malkam Cheruvu and through Golkunda. However, due to the intervention of IT concerns and many other encroachers, this area is under threat. So part of it has been destroyed, and still there is another part which is still there. So it is a very rich biodiversity reserve for flora and fauna. It needs to be protected. Now, coming to other rock formations in Hyderabad, we have rock formations in Shamirpet. These are known as Venkateshwar Gutta rock formations. Then we have rock formations near Ramoji city. These are called, I think there are some waterfalls there. And like that, we have many other rock formations in the city. Now, coming to Andhra Pradesh, there is a large rock formation which is known as Grand Canyon of India. The place is called Gandipeta, which has a large amount of rock formations surrounded by the river and also flora and fauna. So these are some of the rock formations we find in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. In fact, the entire area of Telangana and Andhra is complete with rock formations, which are a rich biological biodiversity reserve. Now, coming to the steps which have been taken to preserve these rock formations, which are the biodiversity reserve, there have been several attempts by the land encroachers as well as corporates and even the government to destroy this rich biodiversity reserve. Several times, Society to Save Rocks in Hyderabad has been to the courts and we got installed here. But still, there are certain areas which lost, like Durgam Cheruvu, partly, and also Praja. I will briefly now mention about what did we see in the rocks. We have this monthly rock walk, which is on every third Sunday of the month, where we go to a particular rock formation and have the trekking there, and we come across the biodiversity there. During one of the rock walks, I saw reptiles and insects and even porcupines, the spines of which I have saved up to date. Some other also observed insectivorous plants, Malabar toad, hand-throated lizards, and other organisms that are part of the boulder-based ecosystems. Over regular rock walks, we have also come across peacocks, wild boars, and many bird species. The rock formations prevent the soil erosion. They serve as containers or aquifers of rainwater, help in recharging the groundwater table. They play a part in forming lakes and other water bodies. Thereby, they are integral part of our ecosystem. So, with this, I will conclude. Rock formations are an integral part of the biodiversity and they need to be protected. Thank you. Thank you all. Yeah. Done.
Thank you for the.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a wonderful session for sharing your full knowledge with us. Thank you so much, sir.
And compulsory attraction. 8 years of experience must be.
Today it is an honor to introduce a dedicated voice for animal welfare and compassionate action with 8 years of extensive experience in the field of animal welfare. He has devoted his efforts to animal resources, public awareness, advocacy, and handling animal-cruelty cases with commitment and responsibility. Over the years, he has worked directly with communities and stakeholders to promote kindness towards animals, respond to welfare concerns, and support meaningful change through awareness and action. This journey also includes working with international NGOs contributing to initiatives that strengthen animal protection efforts and expand the impact of welfare programs. His work reflects the belief that creates a compassionate, society begins with protecting those who cannot speak for themselves. Today, we welcome someone whose work continues to inspire action and empathy in the field of animal welfare. So we warmly welcome we warmly welcome you, Mr. Pradeep Yerra, sir, to share your valuable insights on environment.
Thank you, everyone, for the introduction. Very good afternoon again. Thank you, Ravinder sir, for taking to such wonderful initiative, and also to the students for those taking part of this initiative, and on the eve of International Biodiversity Day.
Yeah, good afternoon, Pradeep.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, sir.
Yeah. So Pradeep has been very much working in animal welfare field on biodiversity and also in on nature and environment. He's very active, and we have been closely working since almost over a decade. And he has worked with international NGOs like the first and foremost NGO, which was started in US on protection of animal rights, that is Human Society International. And he worked with Blue Cross, and he worked with, he's associated with many other organizations. Yeah, Pradeep, you can go ahead with your session. We welcome you to this international celebrations on biodiversity.
Thank you, Ravindra sir, for the wonderful introduction. Very good afternoon, one and all. So today on the eve of International Biodiversity Day, so I'd like to share a few insights. And before going to the session, I'd like to start with the quote. The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. So we all wait for someone else to take part in conserving our planet and all. And here, this quote is said by Robert Swan. So if something has happened, like there is a lot of garbage in our society, large streets and everywhere. So we actually wait some municipality to come and clean, but we don't take about action. So we cannot wait for the governments alone. The change must begin in our classrooms, our campuses, and our hearts. So today, I'm going to talk about what is an eco club. So why we need an eco club, and as a students, how you can bring a change in your campus and also to the society, and also the what are the financials needed to start an eco club in your institution. So before going to the further, what is an eco club? So an eco club is a student-driven environmental group with an educational institution, within an educational institution. So it mainly promotes ecological awareness and environmental literacy. At the same time, it encourages sustainable habits on campus and beyond. It connects students to the real-world environmental challenges and transforms passive learners into active environmental leaders. So this is important. This is an eco club. So why we need an eco club? So today we are seeing global issues, which may be ranging from the rising of temperature, wars, and ecological crisis. And we are seeing the global rise in the temperatures. So we are living in a world today as there is a rise in temperatures at an alarming rate. You see that forests are disappearing at the rate of 15 billion trees per year. Oceans are choking with over 8 million tons of plastic every year annually. Freshwater sources are depleting rapidly. Air pollution kills over 7 million people every year globally. Heat waves we are experiencing right now, the floods and droughts are becoming the new normal. So, if not now, when we will take conserve our environment? And we talk about the Constitution of India, Article 51A, which talks about it shall be the fundamental duty of every citizen to protect our lakes, rivers, and habitat, and to have a compassion towards all living creatures. So, Eco Club is one of the pillar initiative in spearheading the environmental consciousness, at the same time conserving our nature, spreading awareness in the academic institution. Now we will see about what actually the Eco Club does in role of educational institutions. Educational institutions are the most powerful platforms for change, and they house the largest concentration of young minds. They shape values, habits, and worldviews at a formative age. They have the reach and influence to impact families and communities. They produce the future scientists, leaders, and policymakers of tomorrow. An education that teaches environmental responsibility produces responsible citizens who live in. So, as an institution which produces, which talks about environmental sustainability, which inculcates the students to take part about environmental conservation, they create a future citizens for the nation. So, we all seen about what is an eco club. We all talk about the eco club, what need for eco club, and the role of eco club in educational institutions. So let's see about the core roles of an eco club. The first one, foremost thing is environmental education and awareness. Eco clubs are very important in spreading awareness. So this includes conducting workshops, seminars, and awareness campaigns. Educating students about climate change, biodiversity, pollution, and real-time challenges. So another foremost thing is campus sustainability. Today we are all seeing about the plastic, how it is creating a lot of problems. We are seeing the lakes have been polluted with plastics, and we're seeing that animals, especially be it a wildlife or domestic animals, they eat plastic and they suffer a lot. Even humans also suffer a lot. So these eco clubs provide promoting a plastic-free campus initiative. So, and second thing is implementing waste segregation and composting programs. Encouraging energy conservation and water saving on campus. Greening the campus through tree plantation and gardening projects. Community outreach. So extending environmental awareness in campus is very important. At the same time, spreading beyond the campus walls is very important. Like you can organize cleanup drives in nearby lakes, parks, and streets, educating local communities about sustainable practices, partnering with schools and local authorities. So some of the key initiatives of Eco Club is like tree plantation drives. we have seen that there is tree cutting and we are losing trees everywhere. So trees play a very vital role in providing us shade and also a home to the various species. So you can plant trees in nearby communities. At the same time, cleanup campaigns. You see that a lot of lakes have been getting polluted because of plastic and also waste, toxic waste materials and industrial waste effluents. So you can select a nearby lake and you can organize a cleanup campaign. Not even a lake, you can also do as even a park, nearby park in your community. You can organize cleanup campaigns over there and plastic-free campaigns. So in our campus, maybe you can uh, stop using the plastic. Maybe you can use it as an alternative things uh, like steel bottles instead of plastic bottles and many other such initiatives. I have seen one of the interesting video in Sikkim where there is a village where will be no plastic. They completely ban plastic and we utilize the plastic. We provide bamboo bottles instead of plastic. And whoever tourists come to the place, they will check up with the checkpost and ensure that there are no plastic. The tourists, I mean visitors who are visiting the village, they ensure that there are no plastic in their vehicles, and if there are any plastic bottles and all, they replace with them with bamboo, sustainable alternatives. Today, the village is one of the example it is setting in India, like protecting the lakes and also creating a plastic-free village. So we need such villages, we need such communities, we need such academic institutions. So Eco Club plays a vital role in such initiatives. And one of the other thing is composting projects, rainwater harvesting, which we are seeing that groundwater levels are depleting day by day. So you can start with the rainwater harvesting in your academic institutions, organizing nature walks and bird watching. We are like, we are all part of the nature and can go for a nature walk. It not only connects with you to the nature, and it also replenishes your body and mind. And you can notice the flora and fauna, especially the birds and other species. You can organize environmental competitions and significant environmental days. You can invite the guest lectures. Like today, we are seeing many of the eminent speakers are there, so they're delivering the talks. So you can organize such things and green audits. You can organize green audits to check your campus in its like your campus, how well it is sustainable and all. You can connect that thing. And social media campaigns. Today, social media plays a vital role. So you can spread some campaigns like plastic-free campus, hashtag, and many other such innovative ideas. So, how students what can students develop from this Eco Club? The first thing is, as a student, you can develop environmental consciousness and responsibility towards environment. And as a student, you will be learning academic things and academic aspects. But once you are part of Eco Club, you will develop a leadership and organization skills. And you will gain teamwork and collaboration because you will be working with your fellow members, and also you will be working with non-governmental organizations, you will be working with governments. So you will gain a lot of such skills even you are a part of Eco Club. And you will have a research and analytical thinking. And you will develop communication and public speaking whenever you go for any, because you will be talking, you will be delivering talks, you will be part of a event, so you can develop your you can improve your communication and public speaking, and you will develop empathy towards nature and also all living beings. You also develop a sense of purpose beyond personal success. You cannot it's not about just a degree holders, being a degree holders, but as a responsible global citizens. At the same time, having an eco club transforms the educational institution itself, builds a green and healthy campus environment, enhances the reputation and ranking of the institution, and it attracts grants, awards, and recognition from the government, creates a culture of sustainability and social responsibility, strengthens the institution's community relationships, produces alumni who are environmentally conscious professionals. So these are some of the unique benefits where students can benefit and the academic institutions can also benefit. So now we can see that how we can form an eco club. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. It is one of the wonderful quote because a small group of committed people will do wonders to change the world. So whenever you are forming an eco club, have a one wonderful vision. Have see the real-time problem. What is actually happening in our society? There are multiple problems are there. You can take one problem and make it as a vision, and also you can build a mission for that. Apart from that, you need to build a team, because a good team will bring a success. So this can be, you can select as a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, event coordinators, social media head, faculty advisors, because you're fortunate enough because you have a wonderful faculty advisor, Dr. Ravinder sir. So he will help you with that. And other thing is, you need to prepare a formal proposal for a club, like name of the club, and also vision and mission statement, list of founding members with their details, name of the faculty advisor, planned activities for the academic year. So you can use these planned activities by preparing a calendar of events. Like you have environmental significant days. So you can make a calendar of events, and based accordingly, you can design planned activities and estimated budget requirement. So how much budget it is required, and estimated outcomes and impact. So at the same time, you can register your Eco Club or Environment Club under National Green Corps. So it is vital, and it is also helpful to you in getting funds, and also you can get introduced to the like-minded institutions, and also you can also have an interaction with the other educational institutions as well. So once you have done that, you need to recruit members. You can set up a small stall. Maybe after this program, maybe after the orientation week, you can set up a small stall and make and create an attractive membership form, and give a passionate speech in your different departments in your classrooms, and put a eye-catching posters. You can place it in your college notice board as well. Oh. And once that you have done, you can create an Instagram page, because whatever activities you are doing digitally, because today the world is digital. So everywhere there is a social media. So create a page, Instagram page, and page for the club, and before recruitment of and also post engaging content, like to attract environmental conscious. So use WhatsApp group and college social media page. Keep memberships, or like you can open to the all departments, and charge small affordable fees, nominal fees. You can also, like say 50 rupees, 100 rupees, and give some certificates for encouraging, as an encouragement, like and once you are done, you can officially launch your club, and plant a tree just to symbolize the beginning of your green journey. And so that's all I want to say. For funding, you can make it as a self-sufficiency. Initially, you can charge small amount, 50 rupees, like membership form, and some of the other resources may be things like you can make your club a part of National Green Corps, and since which is under the Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change, and so we every time when you do an activity, document it, because documentation is very important. So document every activity, and so you can also once you are a part of a National Green Corps, so you can get some funds where you can utilize for these activities of Eco Club. And other thing is corporate social responsibility, CSR. So you can also get funds through CSR as well. So that is maybe later on stage we can do it. So that's all I want to say. So change always starts with us. It's not someone else, or someone else will come and do. So hopefully, Helen Keller Institute will create a green and sustainable campus, and also the students will be the future environmental conscious citizens for the future. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Ravindra sir, for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for.
Yeah, thank you, Pradeep, for your wonderful insights. So hope there are many takeaways for everyone, and to practice it and implement. There is a increasing need, or it has become a necessity, more of necessity, and we are trying to address this climate change issue, right? And every year we are seeing even many of the states have issued orange alert, red alert, the kind of temperatures we are witnessing, and every year it is rising. And if we do not act now, and this decade is also designated by United Nations as we as a decade of restoration, right? If this decade doesn't go well with the restoration efforts, then definitely there are more disasters awaiting for us. So we need to take up various initiatives to conserve our environment, planet, and also the diversity, rich biodiversity. Even we are losing a lot of biodiversity sites in the name of development. We need to work together, and we need to be more responsible, accountable, towards our own nature. And when we are taking about animals also, when we are taking care of plants, just not initiating will not serve the purpose, but to maintain it, everyone can start, but that initiative has to sustain a period of time, like you were mentioning. Otherwise, inconsistent or lack of persistent efforts will always go into vain. So I hope there are a lot of takeaways in this, and hope everyone will be following that. And thank you for your valuable time. And stay on if anyone has any queries at the end, we will take that. Great.
Sure, sir. Thanks. Thank you, sir, for taking such wonderful initiative.
Thank you. Yeah, good afternoon, Jay Chandra garu.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. In spite of not being well, you have taken your time to join us. Now I request our student to introduce Dr. Jay Chandra, sir.
It is my great honor to welcome today's guest speaker, Dr. K. Jayachandra sir. He is a prominent environmental scientist, GIS consultant, and the founder member and president of the Pure Earth Foundation, Hyderabad. Dr. J. Chandra sir has dedicated his work to environmental sustainability, biodiversity conservation, and eco restoration. He has a strong academic and professional background and completed his education from JNTU Hyderabad and professional background and he also associated with various environmental and scientific organizations. He is highly experienced in geographic information systems, GIS, remote sensing, and geospatial technologies, along with being scientific consultant. He is also professional trainer in GIS technology, that is Geographic Information System. And we are truly privileged to have such an inspiring personality with us today. I warmly welcome you, Dr. K. Jayachandra sir, to share your valuable insights on the environment.
Thank you, Bim.
Thank you,
Over to you, Jay.
Ravindra Garu, and thank you, Mr. Bhim Yadav.
Yes, sir, you are audible and your video is
Yes,
also clear.
yes. I have a small PPT also to share because we became dependent on.
PPT is visible, sir.
Yeah, good. Right, sir. So it's a really honor to be part of this program, and very fortunate to have little knowledge about this particular sector, biodiversity. So, though I serve in remote sensing, GIS, and geospatial technologies, of course, every activity connected with Earth, there is a solution, there is a role for this geospatial technologies, because the entire resource information, land information, and all scientific study you will take up using this remote sensing and some global positioning system like satellite based positioning system, which is called GPS. So GPS and satellite sensing, remote sensing. So these are very important in studying the development or degradation, whatever the ground reality will be reflected through this satellite technology. That is the greatest advantage. Though it started very long back, almost say 5 decades. It started in 1972. But the advancements and good resolutions and even reaching the common man, like present day across the world, people are familiar, even say 70-80% people might have seen their place, their assets, and their lands, or even something in satellite data. Maybe we should be thankful to some free Earth portals like Google Earth. Many other also there. Specific organizations, they have their own Earth portals. But one popular one is Google Earth portal. So, see how this technology connected with biodiversity or whatever, because biodiversity includes everything. The entire Earth, millions of creatures are there. We call it biolife. We are also part of it. But the major culprit on this planet Earth is human being. So, because of human, whatever advantage that human being has in terms of knowledge are many ways, because everybody knows from the history how the human kind is advancing. So many developmental activities, and always we know we are among this entire biolife, other creatures. But because of whatever reason human has, so we became the spoiled sport in this biolife. Every other creature is somewhere or other affected by human. So you want to protect the biodiversity, it is in your hands. That means human being hands. You want to spoil, yes. The reason, the cause is again human beings. So ultimately, personally, what I feel is education. Education makes humans the value of biolife. That means the value, the role. See, maybe other speakers or many of you are aware the microbes they are called, which are there in the soil and all. And the microbes and whatever resources we take for our life, for our development. Suppose we are producing variety of fruits or vegetables, different crops, different things, enjoying all this. How we are getting? Because the contributors are many. So many unknown things are playing their role. So that is how the flora, fauna combined with this biodiversity. We should maintain a balance. So in that context, with a recent connection with the project of Andhra Pradesh state government, forest department, preparation of zonal master plan for the eco-sensitive zones of wildlife sanctuaries, that we certainly give some, or it will become a model or example how geospatial technologies will be helpful here. So I'll just take through few slides. See, this is the scenario, Indian forest scenario. By 2030, we are just 4 years away. Not even 4 years, 3.5 years exactly. So our target is 33%. But as on today, the percentage of forest cover is 25.17 only. So our target is 33%. So that means how many of us, how many students, there are few topics like this. They should be common to every subject. Somebody takes a civil engineering, somebody goes to a computer science. Will that computer science techie, will he part of this biolife or not? Has he got responsibility to value the nature, value the what you call the biodiversity, biolife and all? Everyone has. So that means there are certain education which is lacking in our country. Like how many of us knows? So National Forest Policy 1988 fixed this 33% by 2030. But what is our present forest cover? Forest cover means the entire geography of the country. 33% geography shall be dedicated to the nature, no human activity. And that land should not be in the ownership of any private people. certainly the forest that is nothing but reserved area shall be managed by a department called Forest Department. So that clarity, if you see, it is only 25.17. With so many years, we could not, last 20 years, 19 to this 25, reaching 2001, that the entire new millennium, this 25 years, we could reach from 19 to 25. Is it really possible from 2026, next 3.5 years, reaching 33%? Is impossible. But if every citizen of India is aware of this, the value of reserved land, value of nature to sustain, which will make us to live long, make us life for the future generation, your own grandchildren. So we are very poor in communicating this type of things. That is where that is my foundation. So I was one of the founder, and I served as president, and I am also associating now the Pure Earth Foundation. Our only objective is to keep educating, that's all, as much as possible, the younger generation. Anyhow, the senior citizens, mostly they feel they know everything. So at least because their expiry date is nearing. But the youngsters are very, very important. So that is where our target is youngsters. We want to keep on educating about Earth and all, how to sustain this planet Earth for more centuries, to see the life that is living with coexistence of all other creatures. So we can't survive on our own without all other biolife. Every biolife is playing its own role. Only human being is playing extra role always, not playing as defined. So now you can see this is the category. Within this, whatever 25.15, protected areas called wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, certain reserved areas, conservation reserve, community reserve, like these are called protected areas. And there is open forest 9.34%. Tree cover is there from 3.41%. So that means just why these figures here is, out of this, around 10%, see, hardly we have 25%. Out of that, 9.34 means 9.5 are almost 10%. 10% is open forest only. What is that the people of this country, the governments of this country is doing? Keeping this reserved land as an open forest. Every day, everybody delivers, everybody talks. No, take a plantation, conserve water. So to get more rains, you should take up this green cover, afforestation activity. Is that millions of plants, the saplings, every year, naming them beautiful titles, Haridharam, Vanam Manam. What is the use spending crores of rupees every year, and nobody bothers about the survival of that species? Crores. You one important leader birthday is there. On that occasion, somebody, just for the sake of some kind of publicity, they'll say, on the occasion of this great leader's birthday, we are planting crore plants. What is the use? How many of them are survival after 2 months? Not even next day, nobody water them. What is the use of that? And spending public money, crores of rupees. If a chief minister wants to plant a sapling, that minimum expenditure will be in lakhs. Is it worth? So these are few things. The reality is one thing, and the real solutions are different. What is happening? What is to be done? honestly is different. Wonderful solutions are there. How to bring this survival of saplings to 90%. See, 10%, whatever you do, nature, that sapling is not having enough whatever nutrient or whatever reason that it can survive in a different location, it may die off. So you can't, even you water it, it may die. That is why you leave 10%. When you take up 90%, you should ensure. Then you don't see this type of 9.3 or 10% of open forest. So wherever land is there, we are creating a layout there. And we want to, make money. We don't know where this type of, development is leading us to in this country particularly. So this is how it is. This is a non-forest and 21.76 forest recover this and scrub area this. Now, this is a small thing. What I learned, I gained little bit knowledge about eco-sensitive zone. See, and therefore we had certain ideas also. I thought I can share, nothing wrong. It is a public related task, nothing but preparing master plan for the eco-sensitive zones of wildlife sanctuaries. Wildlife sanctuary call are protected area. It can be a national park, it can be a wildlife sanctuary. So what is that we learned from that exercise, from that project is all these protected areas, if they don't declare a buffer zone around it, maybe a kilometer or a 500 meter or whatever extent. I have seen one wildlife sanctuary because the urban area is there, very close to urban area, that sanctuary is there. That's Koringa Wildlife Sanctuary at Kakinada. So because that the villages and all private lands and all there, so the eco-sensitive zone was restricted to 50 meters only, just 50 meters. So that means from 0 to 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, mostly the eco-sensitive zones will be identified, declared, and that will be gazetted by Government of India. And within this area, that means within this ESZ, eco-sensitive zone, what is the main purpose? It acts as a shock absorber. That means the human activity will should not be directly affected on the protected area. Suppose if there is a zone between the human activity, that is the revenue land and whatever people can do, they want to do, they can do. That is their land, they will do. And a small distance, though it is again private land, that is revenue land, but with some restrictions. That is called some regulations you are going to propose. That area. Particularly, there shouldn't be mining activity, because that mining activity will directly give a lot of impact. After a few years of that activity, whatever biolife there, you will not see. It will leave that place. The birds or whatever, maybe you, because of mining, you pollute with and this exercise, first time we are doing in India. It is very interesting, even I felt. So
Yeah, you are now connected back, Jason.
Yeah. So that was a technical, whatever, network issue. So again, I have to, there's a technical issue. So, the presentation weight is not coming. Is it visible, sir? Presentation now?
Yeah, A to Z slide.
Yes. So, like this, there are so many things from the government. There are guidelines from Supreme Court. Maybe, yeah, this is from Supreme Court guidelines. For example, these protected areas, if this eco-sensitive zone is not identified, that means the concerned state government has to identify an eco-sensitive zone around these wildlife sanctuaries or protected areas, national parks like that. And they should bring out a gadget mentioning all the regulating activities. If it is not done, as per Supreme Court guidelines, 10 kilometer will be in the buffer zone. That means the restrictions, the regulations will be applicable to 10 kilometers. Then must private land will be affected. So therefore, somehow it started in Andhra Pradesh state. Around 10 wildlife sanctuaries we are preparing. So in that context, certainly there is some GIS technology related, lot of study, lot of derivations, understandings from that technology. So that I would like to share quickly in the next another 15 minutes. So this you can learn anywhere. As I told, it's a shock observer from the protected areas, so that the negative impact due to the human activity will be minimized. So like that, but at the same time, these are the main challenges. So mostly the forest area, suppose this is the, to have a shortest distance, we will lay the highways through the forest. If the roads are passing through forest, passing through protected area, there is a lot of disturbance. It is against that you already declare it as a protected area without human activity. Then again you are passing through, or you are going through tunnels, railway, or surface roads like these railway tracks. So this developmental related, when you balance the advantage, or of course such roads will be regulated. For example, the say Srisalem forest, certain regulation will be there, evening 6 o'clock to morning 6 o'clock. So the traffic, the vehicular traffic cannot be allowed because it's a restricted area, protected area. So like that, certain regulations will be there. So one side is developmental activity, another side is we have to take care. So you should get a balance in giving space to the biolife, whatever nature there, what all the wildlife or the whatever flora, everything. And everybody must know, For example, a particular extent of land is used for a development, like a railway track or a national highway. 3 times of that extent, 3 times of that total geographical area, that department, maybe it is R&B department or National Highways Authority, they should procure, they should purchase private land 3 times to that land. Suppose they took 100 acres, a linear path for a national highway through a national park or through a what we call a protected area. 3 times that extent, they have to procure from private land, that is revenue land, and they should take up afforestation work. So planting trees in a non-forest area is called afforestation. Planting trees within forest is not afforestation. It is plantation. Plantation activity inside forest, even outside forest. But if non-forest area, that is called compensatory afforestation, compensatory areas. So, if we know all this, the open forest, the CA lands, they all can be mapped in the geospatial technology, where they are. So, for what type of road, whatever highway, whatever the development activity through forest, you should have a record, and you should also check where it is compensatory area. So that is why some areas in the revenue you will find forest cover. Actually, that 3.41 mentioned as tree cover, that comes under this. Most of the protected areas, the reserved land, for development purpose, when the land is taken for that purpose, the alternate land is provided and tree cover was raised. That's called afforestation. So this is doing because there is a rule, there is a procedure. So you are doing. At the same time, if everybody is educated, people, all, because we are achieving very good literacy, India, what is use the entire literacy, entire education, only one objective, that is how to make money smart way. Entire knowledge we are taking, only one objective is how to make money. Not thinking, not bothering about any other thing. Whatever everything is nothing for us. Our only focus is any activity you take up, your final goal is making money. This mindset has to be changed first. How it will be possible? Through education. So that is what, so this is how a gadget for every equals to notification and then certain guidelines. So, and you are going to see, because my role, as I told in the beginning, the remote sensing geospatial technologies is all satellite based sensing. Now you can see the background is a satellite data. This is the boundary is the protected area, that is the wildlife sanctuary, and the red one is eco-sensitive zone. So this is also one in Kadapa district. This is Lankamalleshwara Wildlife Sanctuary. There is one Rajiv Gandhi National Park in Koddattur town. You see, town is here, park is here. Very close, so much built up is there. So this built up, they have to follow certain regulations. For example, they should not set up industries that cause pollution. If any industry is below that specification standards, not beyond orange, not beyond yellow. the industries are green, yellow, and red zones. So it should not cross the yellow. Like that, certain restrictions will be there. At the same time, they will also be given some facilities. How to utilize this resource. These are one of the resources. So a win-win situation will be proposed to these people, to these either people living here or the lands of who owns the land here, that landlords, that owners, certain regulations plus facilities. Both are mentioned in the master plan. That is called zonal master plan to be implemented in the ecosystem zone around protected areas. So similar to this, you can look at now this is the Kuringa Wildlife Sanctuary. Now you can see here, I just mentioned 50 meters. See this dotted one is the wildlife sanctuary boundary. The yellow one is ESZ. See ESZ here, it is following on the line only. But actually there is a small distance that's called 50 meters. Because you will find built up here, you will find that major activity. So maybe whatever reason, the government, AP Forest Department, just proposed only 50 meters from the boundary of the protected area and the ecosystem. But here it is to the sea, 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer distance. Similar thing you can observe Krishna Wildlife Sanctuary. Here, this is Krishna, this belongs to Krishna district, erstwhile. And of course, this present one is also Krishna district. The top portion now it is named after NTR. And this is Prakashan. Sorry, Guntur, but now it is called Bapat. So some portion is in Bapata, some portion is in Krishna. Two revenue districts, part of this wildlife sanctuary, and this is the ecosystem. So at least you will have some opportunity to look into this. Yeah, it is there, Ravindra Garu. It's not disconnected. I saw your message. Hope it is visible, Ravindra Garu. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is another Venkateshwara wildlife, that is a wildlife sanctuary and a national park here, Tirupati. The Tirupati Tirumala Hills is in this national park only. It is in the total reserved area. And this is one more, Peninsular Narasimha Wildlife Sanctuary. It is in the Nellore and Kadapa district borders here. You will have Kandaleru Reservoir and Somasila Reservoir, two reservoirs here in this wildlife sanctuary. So certainly around these natural resources, water bodies, the forest and all, this is a wonderful area for all this wildlife to, flora, fauna to sustain. So we have certainly great extent of this type of areas. Now you can look at this. These are the what is this particular thing? The colonies are these small settlements who are going to come inside this ecosystem. Here also you can see more villages or hamlets. So that means after observing now just a small example, so many villages comes around Lankamalleshwara Wildlife Sanctuary and some villages comes around Rajiv Gandhi National Park because majority is one side is the Kothur town. Maybe, and of course, this project, the socio-economic survey is also there. We use all the geotagged, data collection so that it is a reliable one. So nowadays, what is happening? You are supposed to get some data from field, visiting the real location. As I told just now, earning money with a smart way. That means even in execution project also, without doing practically, somebody will bring this data, fake data, dummy data, writing something wrong parameters. But the technology here, why I mentioned particularly this slide reason is a geotagging concept is will bring the reality. That means this information is collected really at this time. Now every photograph has got certain information printed in its lower left corner. That shows latitude, longitude of that house, time, which date, which time is it. That means you cannot simply take these photos and say, I collected data from this house, from this house. So that house you can take from Google. Google also, if somebody belong to that village, they post that photo of their house. So if you want, if you ask in Google, search Google, rural houses, rural village photos or houses photos like that, you may get so many hundreds of photos. So you can keep them, but they are all fake. The real data collection will be possible to give an authenticity. Yes, the data is collected really, visiting the house, so and so date and time. So that is the way. For example, this the right time to mention. Now census data we started in our country. So due to COVID, every 10 years, like 2001, 2011, 2021, 2031, this is that every 10 years frequency, we are upgrading our census. That means number of households, population, and so many other parameters, nearly 100 parameters. Census data will be created by our country nationwide. For example, even in census data collection, if geotagged concept is used, then the data is more reliable. So you should practically visit every household and get the data. So some of the biggest mistakes government what they do, I personally see. The major problem is supposed to collect a data, proper data. If it takes a year, we should spend even another 6 months buffer. Doesn't matter because we estimate many other natural reasons, whatever rainy timings, any other conditions may delay that time period. We should give more, another 50% extra. That is the reality. Instead, what our government will do, both the administrator, who may be the collectors or who may be the R&D service officers, and the politicians, like chief ministers and ministers. See, if a task that really took 1 year should be taken, given 1.5 years for a correct data, instead what these two people will do, they want it in 3 months. I don't say anything. Okay, if you do with 100 people, you will be doing in 1 year. You do with 500 people and do it in 2 months, like that they will do. That is the reason you don't get correct data. Everybody will go to a village, sit there in somewhere single location, and with the support of somebody, he will write the entire village data there in one location. Total 100 houses data. Somebody there, maybe some 5-6 people will be there. They will tell, each person will tell 10 houses. You don't know, you don't know. Yeah, you got all households of that village. What is that use? So this is how the biggest thing, another aspect of development of any country ultimately depends on the right data, correct data. But I am making my statement. It is impossible for us to create a reliable data of our country. because you can't educate, you can't change. Everybody pose question. Will any one of you, maybe there is hardly 15, 20 people are there in online right now. Everybody, are we ready to give all truthful information pertaining to our personal or whatever assets, whatever things? Can you get 1% from in our country, 1% population? We'll get it from very few, but that number may not reach even 1% of our population. Then how you expect a real development will take place countries like this? So, okay, when you talk about biodiversity, all this flora, fauna, you can also look at it like this. So there are some species, variety of species, they exist in particular location. Medicinal values are there, so much advantages, all this. We need to protect, conserve them. Otherwise, if we neglect, you don't take care. So over a period, you don't find some species. If any school children are there, of course, there is no school students here. So they can check with their grandparents. If they go to a grandparent staying in a village, rural area, what type of flowers they use for different festivals. We use for Badkama, we use for that Sankranti, different festivals. And that flower, is it available now? Also, it is a question mark. Why? Because everywhere real estate. Everywhere. There is a road, just beside the road, kill all that agriculture or horticulture, just make open roads, plots, sell it. That means the only thing, what is that background expectation there? Oh, this land, if we convert into layout, each flat, if we sell, we get better money than selling this land for agriculture purpose. Agriculture farmer cannot invest 1 crore, but the same 1 acre will give 1 crore if you convert into a layout. So that is the smart move. But what is the reason? What is the use? What is the outcome? You are killing the green cover. Now it is neither agriculture, nor horticulture, nor houses, but it remains as a useless land with that layouts. So I have seen in Google Earth, giving an example. Let me go through that. I will also explain, depending on that. So certain specific flora and fauna you will find in a particular areas only. So you have to conserve them. You should have all these type of framing ecosensitive regulations and all. So these are all efforts comes under protecting the biodiversity. And of course, a major role in preparing this is this remote sensing GIS. You first go through all this. So this is how, because the resource information available in published format are available different time periods from satellite. So the advantage of satellite data is you can have today data, you can have 2-3 months back data, you can have last year data, you can have like that last 3-4 decades data also you can have. Then you can practical assess. We are going to look at some pictures. I will show you. These are all the outputs of the geospatial technology. So I'll at least satellite data related. I will show you one. These are land use. So yeah. So this is the satellite data. And December 92, here it is written. December 92, Landsat 5 data. And in November 2008, now you can see certain density of vegetation here within this protected area compared to 92 and 2008 means 15 years. Another 15 years, 24. what it indicates, it is a real efforts by the forest department. We have to appreciate here. So you can see the density, the dense vegetation cover has been increased here. Similarly, that means this can be analyzed. So if you don't have this type of technology, this type of data acquisition and storing, that is called archiving, it is not there. You can't take up all these studies. See this one. Here is also a good reply. This is not a manipulated. This is not something projected for the favor of government. It's the reality. December 92 and November 2008, and you can see all the data belongs to the same season, December, November. Means it is that post-rainy season, that is the Kharif season. So see, some efforts by the government, by the forest department, giving results here. You can see that. But here you can see here that the dense cover is reduced, diluted here. This is the case of SV National Park. 92, the total area is having very dense forest cover due to many reasons like forest fire, again raising plantation. There is a green cover. What is the difference? This light green and dark green. This is young vegetation. Maybe due to forest fire or whatever reason, if that is gone, burnt again due to the departmental efforts, people efforts, or naturally, the vegetation is again grown up. So this is how satellite data of different time period sense data will help the people, the government to assess this, the extent, whatever is increment or decrease, that will give support in the proper planning and decision. And here also. So like this is how, see there was no reservoir in 92, this Kandaleru here. In 2008, now there is water. It is there. So this is how even Krishna Wildlife Sanctuary. So 92 and 2008 is not showing any green cover here. In addition to this, for example, this satellite data, you can see here protected area dotted what it is, wildlife sanctuary, Krishna Wildlife Sanctuary. And the red color here is, suddenly I brought this picture. Only people who are aware of remote sensing technology can read this. The ground, on the ground, whatever green cover will look red color in satellite data. Because this satellite data sensed in along with visible RGB bands, IR band also. IR means heat. That concept is required. It is not the time for us to understand remote sensing. So remote sensing photos and normal photo difference is only RGB combination bands you take photograph with your mobile phone, your cameras, your movie, all that photography is RGB. Because human eye also can see RGB. But satellite, one technology that senses RGB plus IR. RGB, some technologies will sense in IR, sense in micro, sense in radio, all are remote sensing. But other than visible, that is RGB, nothing, no other band human eye can see. So entire data sensed in that band will be assigned to red. Therefore, the red is nothing but green on the surface. Here, why I am showing this picture and talking about remote sensing? See, though it is forest reserved area, these black parcels are aquaculture. See here. So aquaculture, who will do inside? Will animals do there? Will wildlife take up the aquaculture activity? human beings only, the nearby villagers only. So that means we should take care of all this. Strictly, we should not allow any activity, human activity. We should conserve, we should protect. So that means if some illegal, some activity against rules taken up inside the protected area, you can't hide from sanction. That is how. Just I am showing an example. Of course, just look at few 3D of these areas. This is the capability of the geospatial technology. This is the Tirumala, Tirupati Western National Park. This is the Pragati. Okay, so I could show you few outputs of the remote sensing and geospatial technology useful in studying this biodiversity related resources, related flora, fauna. Only I was addressing something. What is that? The recent real estate activity. It is a major concern, very, very important. I am very tried very hard to convince to approach government and guide them, advise them to have a alternate solution, alternate conserving, alternate balancing. So we are not against, not saying that don't go for real estate, but make layout. If you are not building houses, bring up plantation. Don't keep it a useless land use. A land use without any feature. You are projecting that particular area for urbanization, for built up, for housing, for construction, but not happening. You shouldn't keep that way. You should keep raised plantation. And whenever in future 10 years later you want to build a house, you are permitted. Maybe all that kind of things government should bring up. Then wherever there is a non-agriculture conversion, agriculture to non-agriculture conversion, majorly for the purpose of real estate, should be taken care of green cover. Okay, with this, I thank Ravindra Garu, thank all the participants here. So I think I can take leave, or if anybody want to ask me anything, I can answer. Over to you, Ravindra Garu and participants.
Thank you, Dr. Jayachandra Garu. No, in spite of not feeling well also, you have joined and graced the occasion and contributed immensely through sharing GS and remote sensing space-related technologies. And you have shown wonderful, colorful pictures, and how this mapping is done and how resources are spotted. Thank you very much for joining.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
We request everyone to switch on your cameras so that we can take a photograph, group photo. We request all the participants to switch off your cameras for a moment. We'll take group photo. We request all the participants, you can switch on your video. Okay, thank you, everyone. We'll move on to next sessions.
Now I would like to invite Dr. Ravindra, Professor, Faculty, Consultant, Psychology, Linguistics, Medical, Psychiatric, Social Work, Counseling, Career Guidance, Spirituality, Mass Communication, Journalism, Public Relations. He is a visiting guest and faculty for India for various organization institutions, member of various professional associations, organized, presented, and participated in various webinars, seminars, workshops, symposiums, conferences, FDPs, training, awareness, and outreach programs in offline and online hybrid mode at state, national and regional and international level. Dr. Sri Ravindra Sir is a multidisciplinary scholar and practitioner with expertise in psychology, counseling, community development, social work, medical, psychiatric, social work, public relation, mass media, journalism, language, linguistic, environment, Indian knowledge system, spirituality, medical, holistic health, well-being, sustainable development. He is deeply committed to continuous learning and research on the role and impact of language and linguistic across disciplines, fostering multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary approaches. A passionate, flexible, and open learner, he engages with complex phenomena through diverse perspectives. As a long life researcher, he seeks to contribute to society through paramagnetic outcomes that promote holistic health, global peace, harmony, sustainable development. He had his master's in psychology, social work, mass communication and journalism, spirituality, linguistic management, and other courses. Sir, I invite you for the workshop.
Your beautiful introduction. So today is a wonderful occasion organized by beautiful students. Today, our students have been organizing International Day for Biological Diversity, which is celebrated every year on 22nd May 2026 this year and every year. So I appreciate the efforts of the Environment and Biodiversity Club, that is Students Club of Department of Clinical Psychology, Helen Keller Institute, for their wonderful efforts for organizing this wonderful program and celebrations today. Today is celebrated as International Day for Biological Diversity, one day in advance, as we are approaching the midway of decade of restoration, which was designated this decade as decade of restoration because of the efforts that are required by everyone to contribute towards the nation and the planet at large, so that everyone has a responsibility to contribute and everyone can contribute with their small acts which are sensible, accountable, responsible towards the nature, environment, and protecting biodiversity. So today, we'll be talking about biodiversity and how it is related to mental health and well-being. And we will look at various interconnectedness, challenges, and sustainable futures. So biodiversity is defined as the variety and variability of living organisms and ecological systems that increasingly became a central concern in discussions surrounding environmental sustainability, public health, and psychological well-being. In recent decades, rapid urbanization, industrialization, climate change, habit fragmentation, and unsustainable developmental practices have contributed also for human mental health and well-being. So, the intricate interrelationship between the biodiversity and mental health, emphasizing how diverse natural environments positively influence psychological resilience, emotional stability, cognitive functioning, and social well-being. Drawing from an interdisciplinary perspectives including psychology, public health, preventive health, environmental sciences, and sustainability studies, we are examining the therapeutic effects of biodiverse ecosystems on stress reduction, anxiety, depression, cognitive restoration, and emotional balance. We look at the role of biodiversity in promoting preventive mental health care through exposure to green and blue spaces, ecotherapy, forest bathing, urban biodiversity initiatives, and indigenous ecological practices. Special attention is to be given to the Indian context where traditional ecological knowledge systems, yoga, Ayurveda, sacred groves, biodiversity parks, and growing recognition of the biodiversity mental health nexus, several challenges persist, including ecological degradation, unequal access to natural spaces, urban biodiversity decline, environmental injustice, and policy fragmentation. So, as we have seen, many speakers presenting their views and perspectives on biodiversity conservation and conservation, we must be having a developed agendas by advocating interdisciplinary collaboration, including policy interventions and community-based ecological stewardship. We also need to propose pathways towards healthier societies and resilient ecosystems. So biodiversity encompasses the diversity of genes, species, and ecosystems that sustain life on Earth. It forms the foundation of ecological resilience, food systems, climate regulation, and ecosystem services essential for human survival. While biodiversity has traditionally been examined through ecological and conservation perspectives, contemporary research increasingly highlights its role in human psychological functioning and emotional well-being. The growing prevalence of mental health disorders globally has intensified scholarly interest in understanding environmental determinants of mental well-being, particularly the role of biodiverse ecosystems in reducing psychological distress and enhancing emotional resilience. Mental health, as defined by World Health Organization, refers to the state of well-being in which individuals recognize their abilities, cope with their normal life stresses, work productively, and contribute meaningfully to the society. Psychological disorders, including anxiety, depression, chronic stress, burnout, and emotional instability, emerge as significant public health concerns worldwide. According to World Health Organization estimates, mental health disorders or mental disorders contribute to sustainability to the global disease burden affecting urban across socio-economic and cultural context. Rapid urbanization and technological dependency have distanced humans from nature environments. Modern lifestyles characterized by excessive screen exposure, sedentary habits, environmental pollution, and reduced interaction with green spaces have contributed to increased mental stress and social isolation. Simultaneously, biodiversity loss due to deforestation, habitat destruction, pollution, climate change, and overexploitation of natural resources threatens ecosystems that traditionally supported human well-being. Emerging interdisciplinary scholarship in environmental psychology, eco-psychology, conservation biology, and public health suggests that biodiversity-rich environments positively influence mental restoration, emotional regulation, social cohesion, and life satisfaction. Exposure to forests, gardens, rivers, wetlands, biodiversity parks, and urban green spaces have been associated with reduced cortisol levels, lower stress, improved concentration, enhanced mood, and great emotional resilience. In India, biodiversity possesses ecological, spiritual, cultural, and medical significance. Traditional ecological practices rooted in indigenous knowledge systems, sacred groves, yoga, Ayurveda, and nature-based lifestyles reveal deep connections between environmental diversity and human health. Ancient Indian philosophies conceptualized harmony between humans and nature as fundamental to holistic well-being. The destruction of ecological systems therefore poses not only environmental risks, but also psychological and social consequences. This paper or the study examines the interconnections between biodiversity and mental health and well-being through an interdisciplinary lens, and it investigates how ecological diversity contributes to psychological functioning, explores emerging therapeutic frameworks, and evaluates policy responses required to sustain both biodiversity and human well-being. The relationship between nature and psychological well-being has been extensively studied in environmental psychology and public health. Early theoretical foundations emerged from biophilia hypothesis proposed by Edward O. Wilson, which suggests that humans possess innate tendency to connect with the nature. According to this theory, interaction with biological diversity contributes to emotional fulfillment and psychological restoration. The attention restoration theory, in short known as ART, proposed by Kaplan and Kaplan in 1989, argues that natural environments restore depleted cognitive resources. Biodiverse settings reduce mental fatigue by engaging involuntary attention systems, enabling cognitive recovery and enhanced concentration. Similarly, Ulrich's stress reduction theory emphasizes that exposure to natural landscapes can reduce physiological stress indicators such as blood pressure, heart rate, and cortisol secretion. Research indicates that individuals living near green environments experience lower incidence of depression and anxiety. A systematic review by Bratman et al. In 2009 highlighted that biodiversity exposure positively influences psychological health by reducing rumination, improved mood, and strengthening emotional regulation. Another study by Fuller et al. In 2007 demonstrated that psychological benefits increase with greater ecological diversity in the urban green spaces. Recent research increasingly emphasizes blue spaces, including rivers, lakes, wetlands, and oceans, in enhancing mental well-being. White et al. In 2020 found that proximity to aquatic ecosystems significantly contributed to happiness, emotional regulation, and reduced psychological distress. In Indian context, traditional practices such as forest meditation, yoga, biodiversity worship, and sacred ecological landscapes demonstrate long-standing recognition of the environment and well-being connection. Sacred groves across India have historically served ecological conservation and spiritual healing functions. Biodiversity positively influences psychological well-being through multiple pathways. Natural ecosystems facilitate relaxation and physiological restoration. Biodiverse environments lower cortisol levels, heart rate variability, and blood pressure, reducing chronic stress and emotional fatigue. Interaction with green spaces reduces symptoms of anxiety and depression. Exposure to parks, forests, and gardens encourage emotional calmness, mindfulness, and positive mood states. Urban lifestyles contribute to mental fatigue and reduced attention spans. Biodiverse environment supports cognitive recovery by improving memory, concentration, and public solving capacities. Parks and community biodiversity initiatives promote social cohesion and collective engagement. Green public spaces encourage interpersonal interactions, community participation, and emotional support networks. Many cultures associate biodiversity with spiritual meaning. Sacred landscapes and biodiversity-rich ecosystems foster emotional comfort, existential meaning, and psychological resilience. Nature-based therapies have emerged as complementary mental health care approaches. Originating in Japan as Shinrin-yoku, forest bathing involves immersive exposure to forest environments. Research demonstrates reduced stress hormones, improved mood, and enchanting immunity. Gardening activities improve emotional regulation, self-esteem, and social engagement, especially among elderly populations and individuals with mental health disorders. Animal-assisted interventions and biodiversity interaction programs support emotional healing, especially among children and individuals with trauma. Physical activities in biodiverse natural environments contribute significantly to mental resilience and emotional health. India represents one of the world's most mega-diverse countries. Its ecological diversity includes forests, wetlands, mountains, deserts, rivers, and coastal ecosystems, including mangroves. Traditional Indian knowledge systems recognize biodiversity as central to health and spirituality. Sacred groves preserve ecological diversity while functioning as spaces for meditation, emotional restoration, and cultural community. Yoga traditions emphasize harmony between mind, body, and soul and nature. Outdoor yoga and meditative practices contributed to mental stability. Ayurveda medicine recognizes ecological diversity as essential for medical healing and medicinal healing and holistic wellness. Cities increasingly develop biodiversity parks to support ecological sustainability and mental well-being. Several barriers limit biodiversity's mental health benefits, like habitat destruction, climate change, urban ecological degradation, environmental injustice, unequal access to green spaces, policy fragmentation, mental health stigma. So, what we can do about this? So, few policy recommendations and implications include: government should integrate biodiversity into mental health planning, promote urban biodiversity parks, encourage ecotherapy in healthcare systems, integrate biodiversity education into schools, strengthen indigenous ecological practices, expand access to public green spaces, support interdisciplinary research, include biodiversity within national mental health missions. The SDGs, particularly SDG 3, Sustainable Development Goals, Good Health and Well-being, and SDG 15, Life on Land, reinforce these interconnections. The relationship between biodiversity and mental health represents one of the most significant interdisciplinary concerns of the 21st century. Biodiversity supports emotional resilience, cognitive functioning, stress reduction, social interaction, and spiritual well-being. Conversely, biodiversity loss contributes to psychological distress, ecological grief, and declining quality of life. Parks and community So in India and globally, biodiversity parks integrating biodiversity conservation and conservation into mental health care and sustainable development practices is increasingly essential. Protecting ecosystems is therefore not solely on environmental responsibility, but a foundational investment in human mental health and collective well-being. And the relationship between biodiversity and human well-being has become increasingly important in the contemporary discussions concerning sustainable development, mental health, ecological conservation, and preventive health care. Biodiversity, broadly understood as the variability among living organisms and ecosystems, forms the basis of ecological balance and human survival. However, beyond its ecological and economic significance, biodiversity also contributes substantially to emotional stability, psychological resilience, and social well-being. Emerging research in environmental psychology and public health demonstrates meaningful interactions with natural environments, improve mental functioning, reduce psychological distress, foster emotional restoration. Among India's traditional knowledge systems, Ayurveda offers one of the most comprehensive ecological models of health and well-being. Ayurveda conceptualizes health holistically, integrating physical, mental, emotional, environmental, and spiritual dimensions. Rather than treating illness in isolation, Ayurvedic principles emphasize prevention, ecological balance, and harmonious coexistence with the natural systems. Mental well-being within this framework is understood as emerging from balanced interactions among physiological systems, psychological process, and ecological surroundings. The increasing prevalence of anxiety, depression, emotional stress, burnout, and mental fatigue globally has renewed scholarly attention towards traditional ecological healing systems. Urban lifestyles characterized by environmental degradation, biodiversity loss, technological dependency, and social fragmentation have intensified mental health concerns. Consequently, interdisciplinary scholarship increasingly recognizes biodiversity-rich ecosystems, traditional health systems, ecotherapy, and indigenous knowledge practices as valuable components of holistic mental health care. Biodiversity contributes to mental health through multiple ecological, physiological, emotional, and social pathways. Exposure to natural ecosystems has consistently been associated with reduced stress, improved mood, emotional regulation, cognitive restoration, and psychological resilience. According to Ayurveda, mental health is maintained through balance among three biological energies known as doshas, vata, pitta, and kapha. Psychological disorders emerge when these internal regulatory systems become imbalanced due to environmental, dietary, emotional, or social disruptions. Ecological degradation, climate instability, pollution, and lifestyle imbalances are therefore viewed as contributors to mental distress. Ayurvedic texts such as Charaka Samhita identify emotional disturbances including fear, anxiety, anger, grief, confusion, and depression as disruptions in psychophysiological equilibrium. Healing, therefore, requires restoring balance through natural remedies, dietary practices, mindfulness, seasonal adaptation, medicinal biodiversity, and harmonious environmental engagement. This ecological orientation distinguishes Ayurveda from purely symptom-focused medical systems by emphasizing interconnectedness between mental health and biodiversity. One of the strongest intersections between biodiversity and Ayurveda emerges through medicine plant diversity. India hosts thousands of medical species used for emotional regulation, cognitive enhancement, stress reduction, and neurological functioning. Medicinal biodiversity forms the backbone of Ayurvedic therapeutic systems. The destruction of forests, climate variability, habitat fragmentation, and overexploitation of plant species threaten traditional healthcare systems and mental wellness practices. Ashwagandha is recognized for its adaptogenic properties, helping individuals cope up with chronic stress and emotional exhaustion. Research demonstrates that ashwagandha significantly reduces cortisol levels and improves symptoms associated with anxiety and stress-related disorders. The herb is commonly prescribed for insomnia, nervous fatigue, emotional instability, and burnout. Brahmi plays a significant role in enhancing memory, concentration, and emotional calmness. Ayurvedic practitioners frequently prescribe Brahmi for mental fatigue, cognitive decline, and stress management. Studies indicate neuroprotective benefits associated with improved cognitive performance and emotional regulation. Tulsi occupies a unique position of the intersection of spirituality, biodiversity, and emotional well-being. Revered in Indian households, Tulsi is associated with reduced anxiety, stress reduction, respiratory health, and emotional resilience. Its presence within domestic spaces reflects how biodiversity historically became embedded in everyday mental health practices. The conservation of medical biodiversity, therefore, becomes essential not merely for ecological reasons, but for sustaining culturally embedded mental health systems. Indian knowledge systems articulate a worldview rooted in ecological interconnectedness. Ancient Indian philosophical traditions consistently emphasize reciprocity between humans and ecosystems. Nature is conceptualized not as an exploitable commodity, but as a living entity, deserving ethical respect and stewardship. The principles of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, meaning the world is one family, reflects ecological interconnectedness and social existence. Similarly, the concept of Prakriti in Indian philosophy represents the natural world as dynamic, life-giving, and essential for human equilibrium. Traditional Indian ecological ethics promoted biodiversity conservation through social practices rather than formal legal institutions. Communities protected forests, rivers, medicinal plants, mountains, and wildlife through religious customs, ethical obligations, and cultural values. So the ecological worldview fostered environments conducive to emotional stability, spiritual well-being, and collective mental health. Sacred groves represent an important example of indigenous biodiversity conservation in India. These protected ecological landscapes preserve biodiversity while simultaneously serving spiritual and psychological functions. Communities historically restricted exploitation within sacred groves, preserving ecological integrity while fostering spaces for meditation, prayer, reflection, and emotional healing. Research increasingly suggests that biodiverse forest environments reduce mental fatigue, lower anxiety levels, and improve emotional resilience. Sacred ecological spaces across regions such as Meghalaya, Kerala, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Himachal Pradesh continue to function as reservoirs of biodiversity and mental restoration. Yoga represents another significant contribution of Indian knowledge systems to mental well-being. Traditional yogic practices emphasize mental clarity, emotional regulation, and spiritual awareness through integration and natural environments. Nature-based yoga contributes significantly to reduction in stress and anxiety, emotional stability, improved concentration, better sleep quality, increased resilience against emotional distress, and meditative practices further encourage ecological mindfulness by fostering attentiveness towards interconnectedness between self and environment. Contemporary ecological degradation increasingly threatens mental well-being. Biodiversity loss contributes to psychological distress through reduced nature exposure, ecological grief, climate anxiety, and climate alienation and emotional alienation. So urban populations particularly experience nature deficit characterized by limitedness, limited access to green spaces, excessive technological exposure, pollution, and reduced ecological interaction. These conditions correlate with increased stress, anxiety, loneliness, and depression. Ayurvedic perspectives interpret such conditions as consequences of ecological imbalance and disconnects from natural rhythms, seasonal adaptations, Richcharya, daily ecological routineness, Dinacharya, dietary mindfulness, and biodiversity interaction remain important preventive strategies. So, biodiversity, Ayurveda, and Indian knowledge systems collectively offer a holistic and sustainable framework for understanding mental health and well-being. Rather than separating human health from ecological systems, these traditions emphasize interconnectedness, prevention, environmental stewardship, and emotional balance. Biodiversity supports mental health not only through ecological restoration, but also through medicinal systems, cultural practices, sacred spaces, and psychological healing traditions. Ayurvedic ecological orientation provides valuable insights for addressing contemporary mental health challenges aggravated by biodiversity loss, urbanization, and environmental stress, integrating indigenous ecological knowledge, medicinal biodiversity conservation, nature-based therapies, and holistic wellness approaches into public health frameworks can contribute to the sustainable mental health care futures. So with this, I would like to conclude my session and wish you all happy that International Day of Biological Diversity in promoting biodiversity and cultural diversity. Okay, over to you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights on today's workshop. If any participant is interested in having Now I would like to invite him, my batchmate, for the presentation.
Thank you, Simon. Good morning, everyone. It is a great honor and privilege to speak before you on the topic importance of forest and biodiversity. Today, I'm going to share a few important points about why forest and biodiversity are essential for life on Earth. So, what is biodiversity? Biodiversity means the wide variety of living organisms such as plants, animals, birds, insects, and microorganisms. And forests are home to millions of species and protect wildlife from extinction. Biodiversity is very important because of every living being has a role in keeping the environment healthy and balanced. The forests are one of the most valuable resources on the earth because the forest gives us oxygen and absorbs carbon dioxide. And forest help in maintaining the balance in nature and supporting life many ways. And forests provide us with food, medicine, wood, and shelter. They also help in controlling climate, bringing rainfall, preventing floods, and reducing soil erosion. Many medicines used by without forest of biodiversity life on Earth would become difficult. Today's forests are being destroyed because of deforestation, pollution, life. Therefore, we should protect forest, plant more trees, and conserve biodiversity for future generations. And the forest and biodiversity are essential for a healthy planet and better future. It is not our it is not only our responsibility but also our duty to protect nature for further generations and save nature for and conserve nature before it becomes a memory. Protect nature now so future generations can enjoy it too. And biodiversity is not an optional, it is essential. In conclude that forest and biodiversity essential for healthy planet and better future. Protecting nature is responsible of every individual person. Thank you for this giving golden opportunity to me.
Thank you, Beam. Now, now the forum is open for participants who want to present. So now, as part of International Biodiversity Day, we are planting some plants.
So thank you everyone for being part of the celebrations. Now we request everyone to plant a sapling today and protect it, because as we are releasing carbon dioxide, and those plants help us to consume carbon dioxide and release oxygen, which are consumed by us. So with this, I request our students to present the report of today's celebrations, and then we'll move on to the last session.
The session was started by student behavior, and then the chairman sir Pathan Umar Khan sir was invited. Then Anumugam sir, the principal of the institute, was invited, and then our convener and head of the department Krishna sir, and coordinator Ravindra sir, and our professor Ramesh sir. And Sudhiban sir has taken topics on Deccan Rocks as Biodiversity Reserve. And Mr. Pradeep Yara sir took a section on waste segregation, environment, conservation, rainwater harvesting, Sikkim Green Audit at College. Jayachandra sir took the session on biodiversity conversion and geopolitical technologies, Supreme Court guidelines and challenges through EASIS and socio-economic service. Then waste segregation, environment conservation, rainwater harvesting, biodiversity conservation, geopolitical technology was taken by Jayachandra sir. biodiversity and how it is related to mental well-being was taken by Ravindra Sir, the coordinator of this workshop. He connected it with nature, environment, biodiversity, helps with mental health. I would like to thank our chief patron, Patan Umar Khan sir, and patron Dr. Anumugam sir, convenient Professor Dr. G. Krishna sir, and then Dr. K. Jayachandra sir, and Sri Pradeep Yara sir, and coordinator Sri Ravindra sir, and Professor Ramesh sir, and Dr. and L. Shapati sir, Chandrakant sir, Gauss sir, Raju sir, and Sudirban sir, and my classmates, previous Karina, Bhimudu, Ritvik, Sahit, Pranava, and helping staff, Satya. Now we would like to end this workshop.
Thank you, Sohana, for the report. And we thank all the participants and congratulate the students for organizing this celebration. So this is the first activity which has been organized online in hybrid mode by the students of Environment Club. So definitely there is a lot of scope for improvement, and we will continue to support and organize more programs in future. The certificates for this program will be provided in a week's time for those who have attended the session. And there is also a biodiversity quiz that is available in the registration form and also on the website. There will be a separate certificate for the biodiversity quiz. So we request everyone to attempt the quiz and submit your responses so that you can receive the certificate along with the participation certificate in a week's time. So thank you everyone for joining us. Take care. Have a great day.